What's good? God is good. I'm your host, Jay Did It. Welcome to Thursday Therapies, the podcast for all creatives, writers, rappers, poets, artists, activists, Sacramento community therapy session. Today, we have YANCHIYEBBENZ, a Sacramento-based artist whose life and music reflect resilience, healing, and purpose. Having been on psychiatric medication since the age of 5, navigating special education and overcoming multiple manic episodes, YANCHI's journey is one of perseverance. He has spent over 6 years working with nonprofits to serve the unhoused community while also volunteering in his free time. Despite experiencing homelessness himself earlier this year, YANCHI continues to rise above adversity, using music as both an outlet and a platform. With more than a decade of experience creating music, he is ready to share his message beyond Sacramento. Growing up, he witnessed his mother endure domestic violence, an experience that fuels his passion for change and empathy for others. A proud older brother to his 13-year-old sibling, YANCHI strives to be a positive influence while balancing his love for nature and animals and giving back to the community. Welcome to Thursday Therapies. It's good to have you on here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
Appreciate you.
yes. So, as you know, Thursday Therapies is a discussion on mental health. I just want to get your outlook on mental health and just hear your story, your journey.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, yes, thank you for being on here. For those who may not know you, how would you describe yourself, not just as an artist, but as a person navigating life?
That's a good question. Survivalist, someone who makes mistakes and who's going through this trial and error process just like anybody else. Somebody who's not perfect and someone who's just always looking for constructive criticism, just trying to be the best version of me I could possibly be.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're all healing. We're all striving. We're all trying to be better people, and just trying to do the next best thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Most certainly.
Yeah, that's dope. So growing up on psychiatric medication since the age of 5 is a heavy experience. Can you share what that was like for you as a child and how it shaped your understanding on mental health early on?
It was overstimulating as a child. At the age of 5, you don't have it all together. You're trying to make sense out of the world that's presented to you, and psychiatric medication just complicates things. At the age of 5. Your brain is still going through its own neurological changes, and I think my parents just was doing the best they could with what they had.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't easy, but just through the grace of God, there was tools available to me that helped me just continue to grow into the person that God has in store for me. And it was like walking down the street with a blindfold on for a long time until I got the sense of who I was becoming.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's incredible. Wow. So mental health journey, being in special education from first grade to 10th grade must have been challenging. How did that affect your confidence and development during your school years?
Oh, man. I think it affected me significantly because, like, when you're in elementary school, you're not really paying a whole lot of attention to, what's in style, what's in fashion. It wasn't until middle school where I realized getting off the yellow bus was not in fashion.
Wow.
Your friends are sometimes being dropped off by girls, or their parents is dropping them off. Some of them even taking a city bus. Even the city bus was cool. But like getting off the yellow bus in middle school was not the thing because you wanted to impress women, and getting off the yellow bus just separated you. And I think for a little bit it affected my confidence, but I think in the same sense it motivated me because I was I had that on my side, where it's like, okay, they know me for getting off the yellow bus, but at the same time, I used that to my advantage and got to know people and started, building friendships with people. Just not even that, just going to a home base on campus where you can take tests longer.
Right.
You can get extra help with your tests and your homework. That all affected my confidence, but then my perspective and my outlook on the situation changed because I realized that everybody's situation is different, and through the grace of God, I was able to learn that at such an early age. So I really used that to motivate me to just get out there and still be myself regardless of the situation and the circumstances presented to me. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. That's dope because some people, that really would be challenging for them and for their self-esteem, but it feels like you rose to the occasion.
Nah, for sure. Like getting to like the front of the school and then trying to be the first one to get off the bus,
Right.
or getting to high school. High school was also another time where I had to ride the yellow bus and just wanting to be the first one to get off the bus. It was a very shallow way of thinking at the time. It was a very narrow-minded way of thinking at the time because the people that were on that bus with me were people too.
Right.
With their own set of struggles and challenges.
Right.
So I do regret how I handled, that situation in a way that and how I choose to, use it as like a defense mechanism to help me, build relationships or friendships with people. But I was just immature. But I look back on it now as a blessing. I'm glad I got to ride the bus because it builds self-esteem. It's really on how you look at it.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful for like special education, riding the bus, all of that stuff, because I wouldn't be who I was today without it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to own that. Own your identity for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, that's dope. So you've been hospitalized 3 times for manic episodes. What do you wish more people understood about mania and how it impacts someone living with it?
I think the misconception about manic episodes is that people think that they can be controlled. They just based on experience. I mean, anybody out there who's really experienced that can tell you that like it's an outer body experience.
Right.
Like, and you need help.
Yeah.
You need to go to a hospital. You need to have a strong support system around you telling you, hey, you're not okay right now.
Right.
I know you're not yourself right now. Let's get you some help. I think that's really important instead of, in my experience, there was situations where, the episode was being mocked, or it was being filmed, or it was being exploited. And then the misconception was that, hey, that dude's on drugs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No, that dude is really going through a mental health breakdown, and he needs help.
Right.
And he's just looking for it in all the wrong places. So that's the misconception about that. And anybody really out there going through that or went through that can tell you it's just a blessing to get your mind back once you lose it.
No, definitely.
Because some people just don't come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Once they check out, they check out for good. Yeah. No, it's definitely very hard to pull yourself back out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm glad you were able to.
Through the grace of God, couldn't have done it without God.
Yeah, that's dope. So, what coping mechanisms or routines or supports have helped you manage your mental health over the years?
I think for the most part, my coping mechanism for managing my mental health was music for a long time. Boxing was also another sport I played that helped me manage stress and, frustration. And for a while, I was, training in hopes to compete, and ended up, getting getting like the USA boxing you know application filled out, completed, so I can compete, but just didn't happen the way I thought it would happen. And then yeah, I mean, music and working out and boxing, and then just being around a strong support system, like having some good friends around you is important. Being able to talk to your family, all these things really helped me cope with my mental health. You know, things that didn't work were, you know, opening up to your significant other about that stuff. Like that kind of stuff can fracture relationships. And I wish I could have handled situations like that with some of my significant others better than I did, because that's just what doesn't work for me. But music right now works. Music works, and taking your medication. Let's talk about it.
That part.
Medication works.
That part. No, it does work. You know, medication does work, and a lot of people are definitely against taking medications. But if you get on the right medications, it does work. Because I know I was on them. I was against them for a long time because of what my mom instilled in me. But as an adult, I had to take that step and put myself on medications because I was going through a difficult time also. And, you know, it worked for the time being. You know, it's not something that I wanted to be on for the rest of my life. And I worked really hard, and I still continue to work really hard to not be on medications with those different outlets. Like you said, you know, working out, going to church, support groups, therapy, you know, healthy relationships, and music for sure. Definitely music is one of the outlets that I use, but medications do work. They do work.
I agree. I was in denial about taking medications for a long time. There was instances where my family would say, hey, you're not right. You need to get on some medication. Didn't want to do it, and just wanted to, you know, smoke weed. Smoking weed was my medication for a long time. I felt like that worked.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't for some people. Shout out those who can do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Shout
out y'all who can do that. You know what I mean? But, you know, my brain just changed over time, and, you know, it became a downer. So you can't do, so I had to take medication.
Yeah. I learned at a young age, weed is not my thing. I think I can count on both my hands as many times as I did the weed.
Yeah. Can't do it.
But it ain't for me. Man.
But shout out y'all who smoke, though.
Right. Okay, so music is therapy. You've been creating music for over a decade. How has music been part of your healing?
That's a good question. It's been a huge part of my healing. I want to say it's because of the people that, you know, I grew up with that really encouraged me to write music, and then not only to write music but to relate to your own music.
Yeah.
I think that's a talent in itself.
Right.
There's an art to relating to your own music, and you know, and staying on topic, and, you know, reciting it when you're feeling uncertain about life. You know, things that you rap about can keep you on track if you're really if you're putting your heart into your own music. So it can be therapy if you make it that.
Yeah.
For me, it is therapeutic. So I try to write as much as I can between jobs, and you know, just see what comes out. You know, and, you know, I get a lot of good rapport from what I write, and that motivates me to be better, because, I mean, some of the people who have things to say, like, I look up to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Definitely. And your music does speak. It speaks volumes, because I can relate to a lot of your music in my own situation that I went through when I was homeless, and just listening to what you have to say, I'm just like, it hits me and it gives me chills every time I listen to you at these open mics. So you got to keep it up, keep going.
I will. I received that.
Definitely dope. So now that you're on DistroKid, how do you plan to use your platform to inspire or speak on mental health?
That's a good question. Plan to write more music and put more music out. Um, there's no excuse. I'm gonna be honest. There's no excuse as to why I'm not putting out as much music as I said I want to right now. I need to make time for it. When I do put out music, I definitely plan to, make sure that the music that I put out is experiential based and things that people can relate to. Just
Right.
a bunch of lived experiences. Um, you know, um, Witty punchlines are cool, but like I found out like my style is more so like um, like talking.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to explain it, but I just talk.
You're like speaking life into people.
Yeah, just
You're telling people their stories because it's your story.
and the
people
sentence
can relate.
and they're just complete sentences, and then the rhyme is at the end of the sentence. Because sometimes it's just the truth don't rhyme.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's my focus. That's how I would approach my music if I were to put it out on DistroKid. But I definitely plan on putting out music that people can relate to, people that's definitely going through struggle and regarding mental health, drug addiction, homelessness, domestic violence. Things that I had to kind of live through, things that I know about, because I'm not really gonna rap about things I don't know about. It's not it's not my strong suit. So
Right, that part.
yeah.
That's dope.
Mhm.
And a lot of your music already speaks to those things.
Yeah, I try to stay on topic on some of those things, but like sometimes like I have an intrusive thought and then somehow it just rhymes like
That's the beauty of it.
yeah, it's just and then sometimes it could get real obnoxious.
That's okay. People like obnoxious. They like ratchet. They like that shit. That's what makes it fun, even though we go through these dark times, these dark days, we still human.
Nah, for sure.
We still human.
Yeah. Nah, but I mean, I think there's a time and place for that.
Yeah.
But like once you get into album mode and you want to be more organized with your storytelling and whatnot, you do tend to gravitate to subjects that are consistent with what you're talking about on the song, as opposed to just being scatterbrained and everything rhyming and it sounding cool. But I don't know. I think I need to work more on being more organized in my storytelling. So if I do put out an album on DistroKid, that's what I plan to focus on. But as far as mixtapes and everything are concerned, like I might be a little bit more on the obnoxious side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm for it. I can't wait to hear.
Okay.
I can't wait. I'm all for it.
I gotta make some time for it, but I'll definitely do it.
Yes, let's do it. Yes. Okay. So, community impact. You spent 6 years providing direct services to people living on the streets. How did that work shape your perspective on homelessness and healing?
Man, that's such a touchy subject because I like I said, I may be, we were talking about this earlier, I maybe have been 20, turning 21 with little to no experience in the, in the community services and resources that's available to people who are homeless, formerly incarcerated, families, people in need of services had little to no resources or information about that. So I think for like the first couple weeks, it was just walking around building rapport with people. And I think the hardest part about that role at the time was not having the lived experience, but like the lived experience of being homeless or, struggling with, mental health at the time or drug addiction at the time. And, but having the compassion and, the empathy to relate to people.
Right.
I think that really carried me in areas that were uncharted territory, like understanding what some of the social norms were or the cultural norms were in the homeless community, specific to those who are chronically homeless. Walking around with blankets,
Right.
selling their shoes for things,
Yeah.
so they'll be without shoes. That was like new to me. So like walking around and just talking to people was, if I felt super unproductive. Like there were times where I'll just call my colleagues like, I don't know what I'm doing out here.
Yeah.
I need some guidance. I need some direction. Like my job was to just walk around Cesar Chavez Park and just try to and house people. Like
Yeah.
that's what I was told to do. And it's a jungle out there.
It
and
is.
and you're not sure how to help people if all they want is housing, and you don't have housing, then some people don't even want to talk to you.
Right.
So that's how we got our funding at the time. I think I was working with a nonprofit called Sac Steps Forward, but
Okay.
well, I think that molded me into being the person I am today, because like the whole time I was going through that position at that company, I would tell myself like, there's no way I'm about to be homeless. Wow. And it's just like, it's like when you tell yourself something or you got plans to do something, it's like God laughs. And that's what happened. And I'm in a situation because of how I went about certain things, and I do believe it's a direct outcome of those certain things. Like what you put out in the universe is important. Got to be conscious of what you put out in the universe.
Absolutely.
I'm going off on a tangent, but it is a touchy subject for me, because I really love the work that these nonprofits out here do. It's needed.
Right.
Direct services, homeless relocation services, employment workshops,
Absolutely.
resume building, like all that is important.
Absolutely.
It's hugely important. Mental health services is important.
Absolutely.
It's important.
So you feel like all that was a good lesson for you?
It was definitely a good lesson for me, because like I'll be the first to tell you, like I don't have it figured out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it felt like it was overwhelming, but it was a blessing. It was a blessing because I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that. God wouldn't have presented that to me if he didn't think that I would grow from that or learn from that situation, right, or be in that situation.
Wow.
And it was all those things.
It's crazy how God works.
It is crazy how God works.
Because I'll be sitting back thinking the same thing with my life. I'm like, he has me here hosting Thursday Therapies with YANCHIYEBBENZ. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But so you mentioned being homeless earlier this year due to work slowing down. How did that experience impact your sense of stability and identity now at an older age?
That's a good question. It impacted my identity a little bit because, I feel like I always kind of had my finances together, my housing together. Like I had all that,
Yeah.
I always had until I didn't have, and it's a blessing to not have things.
Right.
It impacted my identity in that manner, but it reminded me of who I was at the same time. Like, you still who you are without all these things.
Facts.
And you're better.
Facts.
You're better because you're doing without.
Right.
And I think I think it took me a long time to come to those realizations. Like, you're doing better without the things that you thought would make you better. Wow. And I think that there's no losing with that mind state. There's no losing because there's people out there in worse situations than some of us. So, and they're making a way
Every day.
But that's how it affected my identity. But I feel like I'm good now, though. I feel like I have nothing to complain about. I woke up today.
Facts.
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
For sure.
Wow. So, despite your challenges, you still volunteer with nonprofits in your free time. What drives you to give back to the community?
That's a good question. Um, what drives me to give back to the community? I don't know. It's a Sacramento thing. That's the best way I could put it. Like, if you got some type of heart, you gonna want to help.
Yeah.
You know, there's no other way to put it. I mean, if you and shout out to those who want to get into that, type of stuff. You should. It's definitely a good idea. But volunteering is not only something that I enjoy doing, but it's therapeutic for me because there's just no good reason to just be stagnant on a day off, in my opinion. Like, there's too much going on out there that you could be a part of, that could bring change.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how I've been ever since my dad introduced me to volunteering at homeless shelters, at food banks and stuff like that. Through the grace of God, he did so, because I don't think I would have involved myself in volunteering or found the importance of volunteering, to be therapeutic for me.
Right.
So I'm grateful for that. It's non-negotiable for me. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm gonna be honest too. I haven't done it in a couple months, but I'd like to get back into doing that when the time is right.
Right.
Yeah, when the time is right. River City Food Bank is one. Front Street Animal Shelter, Boys and Girls Club, Next Move Homeless Shelter. These are all places you can volunteer at.
Absolutely.
So definitely look into that if y'all want to do that. But it's therapeutic.
It's absolutely therapeutic, because if you're sitting at home, in your thoughts, in your mind, that's where the issues with mental health come in. But when you're out serving the community and helping others, it gives you a sense of pride almost, because you're giving back. Like, you're accountability, like, you're meant to be somewhere. God wants you to be somewhere, and giving back in the community is where it's at. 100%.
We're definitely here to give. I mean, we can't take none of this with us.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Right.
We cannot take none of this with us at the end of the day. And we're here to inspire people. We're here to pass on knowledge.
Right.
That's just what we're here to do. If you're not inspiring your neighbor, then what are you doing?
Right. We're supposed to come together as a community.
Supposed to. It's like I said, it's just non-negotiable.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Learn something new about you every day. So, family trauma and resilience. Witnessing domestic violence as a child can leave lasting scars. How have you worked through that trauma, and what message would you share with others who've been through similar experiences?
What message can I give to people experiencing trauma? That's a good question. Advice I'd give is to use your resources, your social support systems. If you're in therapy, use your therapy, and try to exercise if that works out for you. What works for me is music.
Yeah.
What works for me is music. What worked for a long time was working out, but I'll get back into the gym soon.
We all will.
And yeah, volunteering is another one that's just therapeutic. But that's the advice I'd give to people really dealing with trauma and trying to figure out ways to cope with that. Because there's really no one answer.
Right.
You really got to get out there and figure out what works for you.
Right.
And the last thing you want to do is bottle that in. You need to I'm not gonna tell you what you need to do, but I encourage people to talk to somebody, even if you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
writing things down on paper.
Journaling.
Yep. You know, and then you got to get that stuff out.
Yeah.
You can't keep that stuff in there.
That's facts.
You can't. It's like a plague.
It is. Isolation in your own mind is very dangerous.
Yeah, it just eats you. It eats you from the inside out. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can, but you can't do it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't do it forever.
Get some help.
Yeah.
Reach out for help.
Get some help.
You got a 13-year-old brother. How does your journey influence the way you show up for him?
My journey influenced the way I show up for him in a big way. My mom had my brother when I was in middle school. So from middle school, you know, so on from from transitioning from a teenager to an adult, that's kind of all I knew was to kind of try to be some type of just, you know, positive role model in my brother's life. So I think it kind of helped me mature faster a little bit, because I'd go home and there'd be a little one running around, and it'd be so new. You know, I'm used to being the only kid in the house, and then now we got, man, his head was so big as a kid. It's like he didn't even have a neck.
Oh,
It'd just be bobbling everywhere. And so just getting used to that, and just, you know, him constantly wanting to be under you, wanting to see what you're doing, that made me just kind of mature faster, because, you know, I'd go to school and I'd see how kids turn out.
Right.
You know, and I'd be like, yeah, you're not about to do that, bruh.
Are you and your brother close?
Yeah, we're pretty close. He's 13 now, so he's, you know, going through his 13-year-old phase.
Yeah.
You know, he knows it all.
Oh,
Can't tell him nothing.
Right.
You know, so, you know, that can be what it is, but he's cool. We just actually went to the state fair earlier this week, and I found out he's not big on rides.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
So we probably won't be doing a whole bunch of riding at amusement parks. He's more so just the type to just play games, and it's cool. But like, I'm like, come on, bro, let's get on this ride. Just trying to encourage him to get on these rides, but nah, he's too strong-minded. He's not letting nobody deter him from doing nothing.
Oh, okay.
And it's not a bad thing. I just want to get on rides with my brother, but he's not having it.
That's dope. That's dope. So did your brother have an understanding on mental health, or do you guys have that kind of relationship?
I don't really talk to him about it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what he knows about mental health. I think that he's not oblivious to it, though.
Right.
I think he's familiar with that. We used to pass out water and, you know, snacks when he was a kid, like just I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 to people, and, you know, just trying to introduce him to that at an early age, I thought was really important, because he can learn from that.
Yeah.
And he can see that, you know, giving back to the community is the right thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Instead of playing video games.
Absolutely.
You know, or, you know, doing whatever kids do these days, being on their phone. And so he enjoyed stuff like that. So I think he does have a sense as to what that looks like to a certain extent.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So do you think it's important for him to know, you think he's going to watch this episode and have some questions for you? Are you prepared?
He might have some questions for me. Shout out him. But I don't know. You know how kids are. Like, their attention span is so short these days.
Man,
they might just skip through some stuff.
Okay.
And miss the topic. But if he does, I'll definitely have some answers for his questions, though, for sure.
That's good. That's good. You're a good big brother.
I try to be.
So passion beyond the struggle. You enjoy animals and the outdoors. How do these activities help bring you peace and balance?
They help bring me peace. They help bring me understanding too. you understand a lot about somebody, just how animals respond to them.
Right.
You know, I learned that early on. My nana always had dogs in the house. She always was babysitting dogs, adopting dogs, rescuing dogs, participating in rescue missions like Noah's Wish during Hurricane Katrina with my auntie. And, they participated in stuff like that because that's where their heart was at. So, that trickle-down effect, impacted the family.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to get dogs or be a dog trainer or, just have a dog, that was huge. So in my family at least. So I think that impacted me too. So
Nice.
I had dogs growing up, and I don't know. This world ain't the same without a dog. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You said earlier that you adopted a dog.
Yeah, I did adopt a dog. I adopted a dog from the Front Street Animal Shelter. It had a broken leg at the time, and I fostered it first, and then I let my heart get the best of me, and I adopted it because I seen it sleeping in the house one day, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep you. Wrong choice, major wrong choice. I was in school one day and looking at my phone on my camera because I used to have cameras in my apartment because I didn't trust the dog. It was a Belgian Malinois, and after doing research on them, I found out how hyperactive they could be, and in small spaces. So, and I lived in a studio, so I had this full Belgian Malinois, probably like 6 months old, with a broken leg that just healed, that's now ready to run around and just act up, chewing on my walls in the camera that I was looking at. I'm like, hold on now. I had to leave class, go home. By the time I got home, she was digging in my plants, and I couldn't even be mad.
That's wild.
Yeah, she went right to the kennel, though.
You gave her back?
She went right to the kennel, though. I definitely had to take her back to the shelter after that. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, her name was Lily, though. She was a good dog. I think I just bit off more than I could chew.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Bro. At least you tried.
Nah, word of advice, don't put a Belgian Malinois in the studio.
You got to be ready for animals, People
need-
keep telling me, you need to get a support dog. I don't need a support dog because I know how much work animals can be, And where my heart lies is like with what you said, you're going to give your all to the animal, but I can't have an animal in an apartment. I just don't feel like I could do that. And, you got to have so much love and support for them, and you got to have a lot of time. A lot of time.
Nah, they need a backyard.
Right.
That has a door connected to the house.
So they can run around
when you're not
free.
home. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They need space. So
Yeah.
I hope she's doing good, though. Shout out Lily.
Shout out Lily.
Yeah.
I hope she got a good home.
I hope she did too. I hope that leg don't get cold in the winter.
Damn.
She got little metal plates in her leg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Lily will be all right.
She'll be all right. She a Malinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got some college experience and hope to return when the time is right. What would you want to study, and how does education play into your future goals?
Yeah, I got some college experience. I think that I would like to go back to school and further my education in psychology when the time is right. So many credits away from graduating, from juggling, jobs and then trying to do school full time. Not all my classes got passed.
Yeah.
Juggling more than I can handle. But when the time is right, I'd like to definitely go back and just explore psychology. I enjoy psychology.
Yeah.
I actually learned a little bit more about some of the struggles that I was having, just by attending these classes and reading things from these textbooks that were related to mental health.
Absolutely.
So that was really helpful to just kind of know what I was dealing with, so that I can just better my life. So that's really why I enjoy psychology. Also, just we're in a different day and age right now in the workforce. Like, people are looking for people with psychology degrees.
Absolutely.
You know, psychology is like really embedded in the workforce. I don't want to work for someone for the rest of my life, but that's just kind of where that's just where the job market is right now. People are definitely looking for people with psychology degrees to do really anything, really, because it's such a broad major.
Yeah, it is for sure.
It's used in almost everything we do nowadays.
Right.
So that's also another reason I feel like it can give me a one up on the competition when I'm applying for jobs.
Yeah,
But,
no, I think it's a great idea.
yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. So, if someone out there is struggling with mental health, housing insecurities, or just feeling stuck, what would you want them to know?
What I'd want them to know is that they're not alone. It's important to know that there's resources available to them. There's so many nonprofits out there that are willing to, and that's another misconception people don't know about churches, is that churches want to help.
Yeah.
Churches will help you. You know what I mean? They can't wait to help people in situations like that where someone's in need of housing, or they need a hotel, or they need a job, or they need clothes for an interview, or they need food. There's so many food closets that are connected to these churches out here in Sacramento. It just doesn't make sense for you to just be not in the loop on some of that stuff. So that's a misconception about churches. My dad told me about that. I didn't believe him. You know, we grew up on church giveaway food, you know, so I had to see it for myself to believe it.
Right.
And now that I'm kind of in the thick of it, I'm still a little reluctant about getting services from the church, because I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like it's one of those things where you're only talking to God when you need something. You're not appreciating and giving thanks for what's going good. So I don't know. Once I get over that, then I'll definitely reach out to the church. But that's what I tell people. The church, these nonprofits out here, the county office, as much as it's a process to get services from the county office, they're willing to help, especially single women with families. It's imperative that you know that, and if you don't, then you need to talk to people.
Right.
And you know Google can only take you so far.
Right.
You need to get out here and talk to people, and closed mouth don't get fed.
Absolutely.
That's what I had to do, and that's what I'm still doing now. Through the grace of God, you just continue to be proactive out there. God will line something up for you, or a higher power, whatever you believe in. He'll just line something up for you, and it's going to be up to you whether or not you receive it.
Absolutely. You still got to put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just sit there and just wait for somebody to, bring these services to you.
For sure.
You definitely have to put the work in.
100%.
Dope. Yes. So what's next for YANCHIYEBBENZ in life, in music, and in purpose?
What's next for YANCHIYEBBENZ? Music is what's next for YANCHIYEBBENZ.
Yes.
Putting out more music on DistroKid, now that I got this distro deal with them, is next to important for me, to finding a place to live.
Yeah.
That's what's important for me right now. In life, I think that just continuing to show up, showing up for me, showing up for myself
every day.
And I think the most important thing for me is is to not leave God out of it. I don't really know how religious people can get on here, but it's imperative for me to not leave God out of it, because can't do it without him.
Absolutely.
It's just crazy to think that people can do stuff without a higher power.
Right.
Shout out y'all though. This is a safe place.
Absolutely, 100%. This your show. This YANCHIYEBBENZ.
Yeah.
You know, you speak your truth. That's what Thursday Therapies is for.
Yeah, I don't know, cause I don't know. Like you go through life without it, and then once you get a relationship with that, it's just like, you know what I mean?
Things start to line up for you.
Things just start to line up for you and the people around you.
100%.
I mean,
God will align you with your people.
yeah. Then your folks start calling you. Hey, you going to church today?
Yep.
You going with us to church?
Yep.
Yeah, but I need to go back to church though. I do need to go back to church. But no, that's what's next for me in life though. Is just to show up, you know? Show up. Be present.
Yeah.
Be present.
That's you know, do the best you can. That's what all we can do. You know, that's what God wants us to do, is to be present in the moment, you know, for ourselves.
For
you
sure.
Know, put God first.
Don't deprive yourself of a good experience all because, you know, you're feeling how you're feeling. I think what's next for me too is to not move with emotion out here.
Yeah.
I think that's important. Moving with purpose is important.
Facts.
And you know, so yeah.
Facts.
That's what I got to say about what's next for Yanchi.
That's what's up. So let's switch gears then. So does Yanchi got some bars for us?
I might got a little bit
You
of
got
bars.
some shows going on?
I wish I had some shows. I'm gonna be honest, I really only been in the music scene since March of this year. Like actively at open mics and you know, meeting with different artists and stuff like that and doing verses, but so things are slowly aligning. But yeah, I'd like to have some shows and only time will tell.
Yeah, when the time is right. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at YANCHIYEBBENZ, YANCHIYEBBENZ, and YouTube at YANCHI-1. And that's what we got going on right now. You can also find me on Apple Music at YANCHIYEBBENZ. And yeah, we'll be putting out new music soon, so just stay in tune.
I can't wait.
Stay in tune.
Spit them bars.
Spit them bars.
Spit them bars. What you got for us?
All right. You think I install HVAC, how I cause havoc, smoking vacuum sealed weed that makes white women panic. I'm bipolar cause I'm serious when I'm really laughing. Feel like I'm Charles Manson who's friends with Susan Atkins. Examples from an episode when I'm feeling manic. To understand the trauma is to understand the action. Took remedial mathematics, was never good at fractions. Diagnosed with ADHD, I'm easily distracted. Took the yellow bus in special education classes. My teacher said if I was older we could make it happen. But how you 40 and find 16-year-olds attractive? Kids being groomed by adults can be so traumatic.
Damn, that's what I'm talking about. That's why we need a mixtape. That's why we need an album. That's why we need to hear more of YANCHIYEBBENZ. That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
For sure.
Oh man, you speak all of that. That's what I'm talking about. I love that. I can't wait. I can't wait. So
Thank you.
Yourself, check your mental health. Like, subscribe, comment. You know, all comments are good comments. You know, tell us what it is. Check yourself, check your mental health.
Check yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on this show.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for having me.
Yes,
Thanks
dope.
for having me.
That's Moses, stupid.
Compare me to my motherfucking self. So many personalities. Everyone is fighting for the bell. They fighting for the bell.